To begin with, it's a little blurry in the background, but I can't get over it. Somebody just said to me, what's with the number S-H-I-T? S and H. Did you know anything about S and H? Don't you know how S and H came about to be? Don't you know what S does? Do you know what H does? Do you know what I can do? And do you know what T can do? IT, or how about a little bit of T? How about looking inside the letter N and seeing the letter A? Therefore, when you spell 10, it becomes T. That simple? No, not that simple. T is the 20th letter. T and O is 20 and 15, or the year 20 and 15. T and O, add them together, equals 35. In 2015, coming up, the Hebrew year will be 5775. 5 and 5 is 10, 7 and 3 is 10, 7 and 3 stands for Nibiru, reverse it is still Nibiru, and 3773 is the height of the Twin Towers. If you reverse every single 10, you will always get 110, and the 110% that we live by. 1 and 9 are 91. Between 19 and 91 is 72 and the number for Hitler. It also says win big, and it is the middle of the gematria scale as being number 14, which is in the game of craps, which goes up only to number 7 between everything, because the opposites on the dice are 7, 7, and 7 for the 21 days of the moon, in which does not occur until we hit the next 7, which creates the 28, in which perhaps is B and H, and B and H is something else. S is the only letter that is 1 and 9 that comes into the game of pool of 1 and 9 under 10. It creates the letter J, and it says I have in French. The S letter of 19 and 91, making 110, that has 72 between, has 72 added to equal to the 91, has 71 in between, or 1771. 3 plus 17 is 20, and 20 being the letter 0, 0 equaling to 6 says 26. 26 becomes the Z letter, configuring with the Q letter. You have 17Q to Z26, which is a combination of addition of 8 in between of which you live, but is still in contact with the 9 because of your 9 birth and your 1 spirit. The 7 of the difference is the gateway, always connected with 8, and 1 is 9. Shall we go on? Where was I? The letter S. Why is the letter S the only one? Well, in the numerological scale, we have 19, 1 and 9 is 10. We have 28, 2 and 8 is 10, but there isn't any 28 letters. But we start again at A. In roulette, they show black 10 and black 28. Why? Because they're both a combination. In numerological value, the 0 equals to 54, and so does the sun, and so does the face of Rubik's Cube. 1 equals to 34. 3 times 4 equals 12. 3 plus 4 equals 7, equals to number 19 again. And welcome into the family of A. S and A and S are right next to where you'd like them to belong. Right here on this keyboard. Right over here. A and S equals to 20. And welcome into the year 2000 of Y2K, because the angel spirit does not play from the ace hole. It plays from the cross of the 14th position. 1 and 4 is 5. 1, 5, and 9, A, E, and I. That says J, which means I have the spirit ability. Alongside the S, when you multiply the S in numerological values, you have 1 plus 9 equaling to 10J, and you have 1 times 9 equals to 9I. You have J. And the French say J for J, and that is the transmission of the values between English and French. And also the A and the E get switched over, because when they say love in French, the letter M in English is EM, but it's marked in French as A-I-M-E, means to love. And it is also 1000, and it brings together 3 zeros, in which I won't get to right now because that's another calculation. So when we come back to S and we ask ourselves about 9 and 10, well, the reason for 9 and 10 is because it keeps repeating itself. 1 times 9 is 9. 1 plus 9 is 10. 109, and Spanish train is riding in. listen to the music, listen to the songs. It tells you everything you want to know. All you got to do is piece it and tear it apart. You practically need not a secretary, but how are you, my friends? How are you, my friends? Keeping yourself aligned in between, which is highly unlikely with so many numerological numbers. So we get S equaling to 10 and 9, which is September and October, and 2 out of every, I think, 8 years is the Hebrew New Year's in October. Otherwise, it's in September. They don't use all the days of the week. I think there is no Tuesday. This year was the earliest. Next year will be one of the latest, or 384 days, if I know, between this New Year's and next New Year's. And next New Year's ends a cycle. And the horn will be tooted on the 4th of October next year, which ends my cycle because it'll be Area 51 in the area I will be of my 51st birthday. Now, talking about Area 51 or anything else you'd like to know is that this dot is the ace dot. It's the only dot. It has nothing to do with this and this. What happens between A and I is if you just keep turning it around, this will create your circle of life, putting your one dot inside the circle of life. Now, which is A and I, becomes the J. Now, this is how we're going to do it. The 1, which is in the center, it's in position number 5, because that's what it is on your telephone. So it becomes 1 and 5 inside the circle of life, representing the formation of closing you in of 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 4 is the jail of A and E or E and I. Now, if you want to start looking back at S, and we played with Q for a minute, Q was the 17th letter. 1 and 7 is 8. Z is the 26th letter. 2 and 6 is 8. 88. Let's start with the NO, or the ring, or the pi of the NO in the circle of life. So since we changed 0 for 6, when you go to the mathematics of pi, change all the zeros for 6. But we are one face. In a one face, you need 3, the triangle, to fit your face in, which shows you 3 sides. Here's the 1 side, here's the 2 side, here's the 3 side, and here's the 4 side. You only need 3 sides. We're looking forward, left and right, we see no more. Multiply everything in pi times 3. You multiply it by 4 and you come back to the beginning and you recreate a number that doesn't recreate itself. Although you will close the door on it a little bit, you won't be able to do the same thing as if you multiply it by 3. Because every single digit number you multiply by 3 and you bring back to a single digit will equal only one of 3 numbers. It'll either be a 3, it'll be a 6, or it'll be a 9. And with 3 numbers out of the totality of 9 numbers, because 0 equals 6, eventually pi will tell a story. Now back to Q. The Q and the Z, as we spoke, is T minus 3 creation. Since we minus the 3 and we added the 3, we have to take the minus 3 and put it onto the added 3. So instead of being T add 3, W equals 23, creation, we add 3 onto 3, which is 6, and we have 20, which is the T letter, plus the 3, equaling to the command and the create of number 33 of the 33 days of John as the Pope, as the 33 years of Christ as his age, and we have Z26. Those 2 numbers are present on the 1 key. 3 and 6 is how we made it by minusing 3 and adding 6. The 1 key with 1 becomes 9. 1 and 9 is 10. In the 7 world, it's 1 and 6 creates the 7. Now, if we really want to put it together as the white wolf, 9, 11, it becomes 56. 5 and 6 equals 2. 6, 5, 5, 6 equals 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. I think I lost you there. The other thing I want to talk about is things 8D, because it sounds like 80. 8T sounds like 80. When you add 8 to T, it becomes 28. And there's your B2, 8H. This is how the 2 and 8, or Venus and Neptune, come to connect. But it's not like Mars and Saturn. Mars and Saturn are 4 and 6, making 10. And Venus and Neptune of the even numbers are 2 and 8 equals 10. It's one or the other. The 8 and the 4 are the only 2 numbers which create the X. No other number creates the X. The A family of angels of 1A, 8 H, as the A is before the consonant. And then we get J and K, where the consonant is before the A because it takes K, J, here on Earth, my video, okay, which takes your life on Earth, K and J, 11 and 10, 21, 21. Here, let's put it here. Let's call this the Tefillin in Hebrew. Let's go back to this for a second. So now we have 48. So when we add up 1A, 8H, 10J, 11K, and 1 and 8, which makes the 18th R, in which all the wisdom teeth have a number 8 in it. It's the 8 separation and the 8 connection in this world, which is the world of 4 and 4. 2 up here and 2 down here is 4, then 2 in here and 2 over here is 4. You'll find it in the cards, in the deck of cards. Not only that, your 10 that I spoke to you about 2 minutes ago comes in the 10 card, October, the octagon, saying 8. The other one comes in the 9 card for September, saying 9, which is birth. Scepter, the scepter is a 7, meaning July. The octagon is the 8, repeating to August. So July and August of 1776 becomes in the Jewish religion September and October of the year 5775. They repeat everything that they were taught in Torah. They took Torah, they recreated the Bible, and then they followed their pathway through Christ. They had to make man believe in truth. Okay, that's why Christ is here. As a name, he is truth. As the writings, he is truth. But there's a lot of things about Christ we don't know. Okay, so now, what was I going to go to next? So when we add up everything in the A family, it equals 48. 48 is the end of space. Its space is ended. Why? Because 1 plus 44 equals to the angle of 45 degrees. And in numerological numbers, it becomes FOX as 6, 15, and 21 and 24. 24th letter is X. And Roman numerals, it's number 10, JX. The other thing we were talking is the 8D and T. It's also 4T and D. And when you say 84 in French, you use the letter Q and Q for 84. There's other numbers in French. There's so much. I'll never finish. This can go on for hours and days and months. It just never finishes. Everything keeps connecting. We just have to keep writing things down and putting them in order. But I'll try and do this as quick as possible. When we come to 4T, which is 40, it ends up to be 24. The T is the 20th letter, plus the 4 equals to 24. Now, because T is 20, once you change it to 20, it becomes 26. Add the 4, becomes 30, creation, which is the number of Ison. 4D is the 4th letter, becomes 44, which is the number of space. 4 by 8 is 32. 4 plus 8 is 12, equaling to 44. 4 plus 4 is H. And 4 times 4 is 16, P. P and H, the sound of F. When you take the 2 and you put them together, it becomes 8. The total is 32 and a back door. And the total is 72, which becomes 8 times 9 equals 72. And if you flip over 8 and 9, I'm going a little too quick, okay? I'm going to try and slow down. When you take 89, okay? Oh my God, what highways are we getting onto now? I'm not going to include the interstates in this. So when we take 89 and we flip it upside down, it becomes 68. 6 and 8 is 14. Now count the cubes on Rubik's Cube, and it's directly the center of Rubik's Cube. N would be the center. That means it's M and N in the circle of life, creating the O. LMNO-P. P is one spirit of the sixth man, and that is 1 and 5 equals 6. The center of this dice cube, which is the center 5, the 1 is in the center, equals 6. The circle of life, 1, 5, and O, which is the same thing as New World Order. Why? Because NWO is 655. 6 times 5 is 30. Ison. By 5 again is 150. We're dead center. Ford 150. So whatever Ford commercials you see, they are inflicting what's coming in the future. I don't read the future. I read the past. The past tells the future because I wipe my nose, but in order to get my hand from here to here, something had to happen before. Another thing, we have 9 by 8 is 72. Plus the 14 makes it 72. of 86. Hitler equals to 72. 7 and 2 is the letter I. 7 times 2 is the letter N. So 7 times 2 equals 14N. 7 plus 2 equals I9. The total is 23W. W-I-N. Win. The other mark that you're missing is 7 is G and 2 is B. 7 and 2 is 9. G and B. It says win big. B-I-G. Win big. And it keeps going on because it goes directly into Einstein when we start minusing, because you have to do whatever you can with the same numbers. N is a formation of 7 and 7, but because they're on the dice and they are in the center, you need two sides, either 6 and 8, and 6 and 8, the odds on the dice are 76, or 9 and 5. But 9 and 5 is E and I. E and I equals 14, N, E-I-N, part of the Einstein era that we live in. The other thing for T and D, okay, T and D, is this is 10 in French, this is 10 in English. 1 and 3. 1 position and 3. Number 13, 3 by 13 is 39. Then you go, a 3 by 31 is 93. Just got this yesterday. Herbert Hoover, Barack Obama, and Hoover Dam. Danger area right now. Only because I got this. In the last video I did with this, they shut me down. Barack Obama is not 44. He's 43. Grover Cleveland was 22 and 24, making Barack Obama's 44 actually fall to 43. But I think it's the 57th presidency. Ison equals 57 and 57 presidencies. Or Ison is number 30 with 57 presidencies. 30 plus 57 equals 87. Again, July and August. But in Ison as number 30 plus the 57 of its value equals to 87, but Ison at 30, the 0 equals 6. So add 6 to 87, it equals to 93. 93 is the representation of Saturn, and whatever anybody says about Saturn, this is what's coming right now. And add man to Saturn, because Mercury has no moon, and the number of Mercury is 103. 10 and 3. JC, Jesus Christ, everything has to work out in numbers because they have to play the game. They just can't take over the world because there's no basis for it. It's all in the game. Don't forget, isn't that what it was? Satan fought to have this game. 666. I have 666 all over the place. Anyways, so we're going to get in here number 39. We reverse 39. 9 and 3 is 12. 1 and 2 is 3. It becomes 33. 1 and 2 is 3. 2 and 8 is 1. S is 1 plus 9 is 10. So we're at 1, 1, and 3 again, 13, 31. This is 1, this is 3. This is 7, this is 9. If we flip this over again, all these corners become 91, 19. And between 91 and 19 is 72. I already mentioned that. Between 73 and 37, let me do that calculation. Between 37 and 73 is 36. Is that not right? It's 36. And if it's 36, then it comes back again to Ison. Why? I'm going to show you. If I can go back in my papers. Ison. Number 94. Because when you do the numbers, you always have to add 1 at the end or not at all. Is it the complete from section A, starting at 1 and ending, or is it the in-between? If it's in-between, then don't add the 1. But if it's not in between, add the 1 because you have to connect the two sides. And A is everywhere. Now, see, Ison is number 57 like I spoke, plus the 36 because it's 30 plus the 0 equals to 93 Saturn. 94 equals to Uranus. Saturn and Uranus is the 7th and the 6th planet. They're the spirit of 76. Now, I'm not sure which other way we should go. If you also want to know, I mentioned the year 20. Well, in the pool ball that's green, the 6 and the 14, because the center of Rubik's Cube has 6 arms. The pool ball 6 green with 14 is where the green pool ball is. 6 and 14 equals to 20. 20 equals 26. You see the letter I? There are two sides. It must be drawn on the square paper. You leave the line, you can create a new equation. So in order to fix the I the way it is, there's two sides. Both will create either 1 or 0. Remember, 0 equals 54. 5 times 4, 5 plus 4 equals 29. It says it. It also says tit because it's a plug. The other thing I wanted to show you, all over the place, I'm trying to get this, is the 3 zeros that they show you in the roulette game. You see the number 3 that comes about? It's a U because the 2 zeros are in the same spot, and then you have to go get the other 0. And when you go get the other 0, it now creates 7C. 7C, C is the third letter, number 73, and now it talks about Nibiru. If you want to know about Planet X, planet equals 86. 8 and 6 is 14, the spirit of 76. X equals 10 or 24. Adding 10 or 24, you understand what I'm saying? 24th letter is X, Roman numeral 10X, but there's more than one way to get the Roman numeral 10X in addition. 6 times 4 is 24, 6 plus 4 is 10 equals 34. 34 equals to DC, or Mars and Earth. And I'm going to show you a little equation that goes with this. Let me see. A little equation that goes with this is right here. The size of the moon is 3, 4, 7, 6. This is the tic-tac-toe, 3, 4, 7, 6, 1, 3, 7, and 9. This is the size of the moon. The center where the dot is, just like on the dice, is number 5. So you go 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. 3, 3.5, 4. Hold on a second. My cat just walked into my face, and I can't see my video. See the way I marked number 5? Because 5 owns this. It's 3, 4, 6, and 7 because it's in the 5 position. Isn't it funny the way you can create 5? Now there's two ways. There's this way, the ambulance, or there's this way. Man walks with his spirit, man intercepts his spirit. Two ways. They each make 10, 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The reason this is empty, this spot, is because I now fill it in 3, 4. 3 on 3, 4, 5. This spot will be a half, 3.5, 4, 6.5, 7, and this whole thing gets filled up with numbers. The Pope we are in now is 266. 2 by 66 is 132. Plus 14 equals 146. Why 14? 6 and 6 is 12, and 2 is 14. This is the cross. That's why every single time we see 14 happens to be the cross on your back, and it's in the game called craps. Now, I told you I was going to show you something else, and I'm trying to find it. I'm going to go back to the letter I for 1 minute, and I want to show you what you do with the I. You do this to the I. You bring it in, and that's the only way you can do it. Unless you go on the line and you create a square, you must bring it into a triangle. It's a triangle or a square. So we were talking about 3 and 4. So I'm going to go back to 3 and 4. Well, there's so many things. We're going to go back to 3 and 4 that we were talking about. 3 plus 7 is 10. 4 plus 6 is 10. The spirit is 76. 6 by 7 is 42. 4 and 2 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. Makes 14. 6 plus 7 is 13. 1 plus 3 is 4. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 and 6 is 9. 8 and 4 is 12. 1 and 2 is 3 equals 39 one more time. This is the time we're in. Barack Obama, Herbert Hoover. Why? Because if you want to do anything, you want to go to Halloween, well, 76 times 4 is 304, if I'm correct, and that's the day of Halloween. It's almost like saying March 1st and Halloween is the same thing. We jump over the February 29th date. I'm going to jump around now. We spoke about 4T and 4D. Well, in French, we say teeth in English, but in French, we say dent with a D. The wisdom teeth are all 18, 28, 38, and 48. All 8s, because it's the wisdom of man is equal on the bottom as on the top. Same with the mustache, which I'm yet to do, because there's too much to do. So we were talking about the size of the moon being 34 and 67. and this becomes Earth and Mars and the Spirit of 76 because the moon is connected to something else. You see the larger board I made? Because there's more numbers that go in here. You see what's been taken out? You ever see the cards, the spade and the club? They have stands. Well, these are the stands. Don't forget, in the deck of cards, there's 52 cards, but the total numbers added up together is 3, 6, and 4. Isn't that funny? 3, 6, and 4, 192. That's our birth. 3, 6, and 4, which is 13 moons. It's exactly perfect in the cards. It adds up. 4 suits. If you add up and you put an ace at the end, it becomes the 14th card. It adds up to 105. Times 4 is the 420 we talk about, which in French they say 80. Again, 80 is 4 and 80, or 4 times 20 equals 80. Again, we're back to 4 and 20 again. But if you say 80 and you realize when you mark it down 4 and 20, it's actually 24. Plus the 4 times 20, which is 80, plus 24 equals 104. And that's your answer to Y2K. 104, which is CB codes, and 104 is saying, I have no ace at the beginning, but I do have an ace at the end valued at 14. When you add up from 2 to 14, it equals 104. It's Casino War and CB codes that they will be coming down on because the vibration is different. Morse code and CB codes, they've all come back to speak. That's one of the reasons all our televisions have been changed, because we can't intercept any of their codes through the old way, Morse code. We know the 10 card and the 9 card for the S, because the 10 card shows 2 houses. The 9 card shows a heart. The 5 card is the same as the 9 card. The 3 card and the 2 card and the 1 card go together to make only a 3, so forget about 1 and 2, and guess what? No moons on Mercury and Venus. I'm not sure which part that I did say, that I didn't say, but one of the things you can remember is this word in the Bible that says olive tans, which means the tanned olive, but if you add it up, it's 11/7. Or 72 again, and 72 says red, and it also says Hitler at the same time. 4774, which is 57 Ison, 5 times 7, 5 plus 7, equals to the total of 47. 4774 equals 121, which is 11 times 11, or 81 seconds, which is 9 times 9. So where were we? So we had this, we had that, okay, so 4774, because we have to do things, 4774 brings you 62,062 moons, or the 0 being replaced by a 6 would be 62662. But this gets reversed in all actuality. If you want, we can reverse both of these. I'm not sure which way, how to do it yet. I haven't done it. But half of this is 31 and half of this is 13. One is 13, one is 31. Remember, you see the bumper of the car, the back bumper when the car leaves. But when the car comes back, you turn around, you see the front bumper. So it's basically like that. One is upstairs, one is downstairs. The 3 is a 1, the 1 is a 3, the 9, excuse me, the 1 is a 9, the 9 is a 1. So that's how it makes 1991. The 3 is a 7, the 7 is a 3, 37 from 73 equals to 36. And like we said, one more time, 36 is the short count for Ison, which recreates 93 Saturn. It reflects on Mercury, it reflects on Earth and Pluto, which is man's birth. I added the 6, 3, 6, and 9. Do you follow my drift? Now there's other ways to create Ison. I told you this becomes 47. So 47 plus 57 equals to 104. 5 times 7, 5 plus 7 equals 47. Now we have 104, 10, 4. JD. There's just so many things. We talked about the Q. We talked about the Z. Where do I get all my numbers? Well, whatever you want to do. 46, 64. Why? Because first I went to 46, then I went on the other side, it was 64. 46, 56, and 8. 18. 64. Chai. 1 plus 9 is 9. 1 times 9. 1 times 9. 64. Boy. 18. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 and 8. 17. That's how you have one side of 8 is 17. Now, if you're going to the roulette table, it's a different story. And if you're talking again about Ison number 57, the letter H and letter I are the same. The letter N and the letter Z are the same. And voila, you have 57. The Q, I'm going to just jump all over because we spoke about the Q. The Q always comes with a U. But when you play the Q ball, it's C, U, and E. Or you could just say it's C and U. C and U totals 24, which again, it says 3 times 4, 3 plus 4. 2 times 4, 2 plus 4 is 6 and 8. 6 and 8 again is the cross, and the dice odds are the spirit of 76. When you come to Einstein, the dice odds are the payout of 75. 5775 of Einstein in 1776. 1776 and 6771 is 7557. The Hebrew New Year and 1776, when you add them up reversed and you go to 5775, this is what you get. 12, 9 times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81, and 81 stands for Venus. 81, 3 times 3 is 9, by 3 is 27, by 3 is 81, 84, 87, 90, 93. 93, right? Back to Saturn and back to Ison one more time. If we went to 94, which is the completion, it would give us the green light. I don't need to use 8. I just see the L that goes in between this. Why? Because it's the E family, and in the E family, there's the S, part of the A family now. The N, the M, Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. It never ends. It just never ends. Thank you for watching this video.